Hi everybody, and welcome back to these videos regarding my previous swimming career. So in the last video I spoke about how I was in the hospital, getting down to the hospital pool and just learning once again to swim in my new body with my all 3 amputations. And I really enjoyed this time in the pool at the hospital because in water I am like weightless and I can I float really well, and I'm fast, and I can transport myself just like I want. And it's more or less like the opposite of being on land for me, especially on this during this time in my life. So it felt really good. And also during those hours that I had down in the pool, then I could just focus on my swimming and I didn't need to think about all the psychological things happening up here, just processing this whole injury and my accident and how to get forward from this. Here and now in the pool, I could just focus on that, and that was such a relief. And actually, still today, I think that is the best way to just clear your mind and just get some resting also up here. So that is also one thing that I really enjoy with the swimming. Eventually, I realized that I won't get any more time slots within the pool at the hospital. So and I feel like I need to have more time here. So then I take the decision to call my old team manager for the swimming team that I previously was the champion of for several years. And this team manager, I knew him quite well since all the years with this team. And he actually had also been to the hospital visiting me during my time there. So I give him a call and ask him is it possible that I can join your team once again? I know you don't have any disabled swim classes, but could I join anyhow? And his reply is just that he's laughing and he's just so happy that I reached out once again and wants to come back to the team. So they are welcoming me with open arms. But then in the end of the same call, I also say to him, you know, I don't want to swim with my old swim mates that are the top class swimmers, and not because I don't like them, because they are way too fast for me now. And I will just be in their way, and I would also actually appreciate to have a good someone that swims the same speed as I do right now. So after some trial and error, we find out that the 10-year-olds, they are a perfect match because they are actually a bit faster than me down in the water. So I really need to put in a lot of effort and work to just keep up with these 10-year-olds. So that was an excellent sparring partner for me. And a few weeks later, I get in contact with a famous Swedish Paralympic swimmer, David Lega. I speak with him, and during this chat, I ask him if I want to start competitive swimming once again, but now as a para swimmer. Who could help me? Who knows which competitions there are and such? And then he told me that the closest team that do para swimming is in Gothenburg, which is approximately 100 kilometers from my hometown. So it's quite some distance, but I can do the exercise with my home team and go on the competitions with this team in Gothenburg. And they also take me in, and a few weeks after this first exercise with them, the Swedish Paralympic team manager for swimming calls me suddenly and say that he are in the neighborhood and would really love to see me swim. So I say, yeah, right, why not? So I go swimming and he's watching me swim. And a few weeks later, once again, my first competition is coming up. And this competition, it's called Malmo Open. And it's actually the biggest para competition, not only within swimming, with all kinds of sports in the whole of north of Europe. And Malmö, that's in south of Sweden, still fairly close to where I am. So I go with my team from Gothenburg to this competition. I remember this day. I'm quite nervous, to be honest, actually. And I do all my preparations just as I usually do, or did actually do before my competitions, before my accident. So I have I go through the same checklist, just preparing myself, getting myself ready to do a race. The first whistle comes that it's time to get to the start blocks. So I'm like rolling forward with my wheelchair. I make myself next to the start block, and then I make myself take myself up on the start block. Now my pulse is really, it's rushing. I'm so nervous. And then the next call comes. On your marks, and then you need to just prepare for the start signal and be really still, because otherwise it's a false start. So I do that, and then the start signal goes, so I dive in and start swimming. And I'm swimming as fast as I can, and I'm just pushing it. And after, this is a 100-meter lap, and after 50 meters, half the race, I just realized that, what am I doing? I'm rushing. I'm stressing my strokes, and I know my coach has told me a million times, don't stress your strokes. So I calm down myself. I focus on my stroke to do the correct strokes, because we have clocked this so many times, and we know that this goes much faster than if I'm just stressing and not paying attention to get a good grip in the water and pull myself as quick as possible forward. So I calm down myself and just keep on trying to have a high speed instead of a high volume of strokes, so to say. So eventually I get to the wall at 100 meters, which also is the finish line for 100 meters. And when I touch the wall, some kind of mess or something happens at the table where the judges are sitting, and I don't really understand. I don't think I did anything wrong. I'm actually quite sure that I didn't do anything wrong. So what's this about? And that mess keeps on going. So actually I managed to take myself out from the water and up on land, and I don't really have the time to get myself up in the wheelchair yet, but down on land, they are calling out in the speakers that, everybody, we just had a new Swedish record done by Christoffer Lindhe. And that was so amazing. My first competition, my first lap, and I had no idea even what the Swedish record was before this, and if I was even close to it. But apparently I was. So I did a new Swedish record, and that just inspired me even more. And now I felt like, now it's definitely, I had this in mind before, that I really would like to go to the Paralympic Games in Beijing 2008. This is 2007, and it's not much time, but hello, I'm the Swedish champion now, so how hard can it be? So after this competition, actually before we leave this site, I take my wheelchair and I roll towards the national coach, the manager of the Swedish swimming team, and I ask him, so how's things now? When do I get my place to the games, to Paralympics? And he's just laughing at me and say that, you know that Sweden requires you to be top 10 in the world to even think about sending you to the Paralympic Games. And this new record time that you just did, that was great. But it just put you on a top 40 position in the world. So you are quite far behind to even be asked to go to the Paralympic Games. So that was a bit of a setback, I must admit. I didn't think that much about it. I just went home, refocused, got back to my home team in Ulricehamn, and kept on with my exercises. So stay tuned to don't miss any of those. And thank you all for watching, and please give me a thumbs up if you like this concept. So thank you all, and bye bye.